guys, welcome back to Canon Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMXNJ Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing episode 1 of Loki, and the title is Glorious Purpose. Now, the first episode takes us back to a scene in Endgame when the Avengers are taking Loki in, and he has his muzzle on. And in that entire scene, we have Tony Stark and Ant-Man trying to retrieve the Tesseract from the suitcase. And we all know how that kind of turned out in Endgame because the Hulk just doesn't want to take the stairs anymore. So we see that Loki is kind of looking around. Should I take it? Should I not take it? And in true Loki fashion, he takes the Tesseract. So then the Tesseract transports him into the middle of the desert and start questioning why he's there. And he's like, I'm Loki from Asgard. It was so great to hear him say that because it's a different version of Loki as we know. He says, I am burdened with a glorious purpose. And then we kind of see this little door open in the middle of the desert. We see these people with full armor on and they want the Tesseract, but they also have this little device that kind of calls out Loki as this variant. So then they kind of explain who they are. One of the armored guards, one being Masaku, kind of explains what the TVA is, which is the Time Variant Authority. They want to take Loki away, they take the Tesseract, but bim, but boom, they're back over at the TVA. So we see this brand new location and it establishes what the TVA is extremely well because Loki, like us, we have no idea where the hell they took him. We have no clue. So to kind of enter within the first 5 minutes of this episode, trying to figure out where Loki is, what they're going to do with him, all of that, and then Loki learning at the same time, I really loved. So we go through these motions. Of course, Loki is really quippy. He's fast. Great physical comedy from Tom Hiddleston as well, so I really appreciated that. And you go through the steps with him. Very funny, fresh, enjoyed it. Then we get to the point where he's about to take a number and go to trial, essentially. So he goes up there and there's a screen with Miss Minutes, who I absolutely love. She's so adorable. And this little character basically explains what the TVA is, what it does, and what it's been doing this entire time. Now, the entire point of the TVA is to find people who are disrupting the sacred timeline. What I loved about this is that they really explained what the sacred timeline was, what the Nexus beings are, the branches from the sacred timeline, different timelines. They're really presenting the multiverse. And within that short clip, while Loki was walking through the line, which like there was no one there, but he was walking through the ropes to get to the front to go see Mbatha-Raw, who did a fantastic job. I thought she was great. So you had that, and the television was such a nice touch just to have Miss Minutes kind of explain what the hell is going on. The next step is that obviously he's on trial, which lasts like 5 seconds, but he is on trial and they accuse Loki of meddling with the timeline. So realistically, if you look at it, Loki was not really messing with the timeline. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the Avengers meddling with the timeline in Endgame. And he expresses this, tries to use his powers, can't do it. And it just breaks my heart because I really wanted to see more of what he's capable of. I've always felt like he was being held back in the films. So I just wanted to see a bit more of it. Owen Wilson pops up as Mobius during that trial scene. And he has a different idea for Loki. They sentenced him to be reset. And Owen Wilson stepped up as Mobius and said, I have a different idea for you. And it's kind of a good one, I have to admit. It's going to be a fun one. The intro is a bit rocky, but this is where I really got into it. Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson, first and foremost, have great chemistry. Great chemistry. It was a bit rocky at first, like I said, but then they really got into a groove when they were just sitting down, the two of them in this different room. So they sit down heavy dialogue between the two of them, and Owen Wilson, Mobius, basically breaks down who Loki is, what his intentions are, what he wanted to be. Is he actually a god, meaning to just cause mischief and just mess around in other people's lives? Does he actually enjoy killing people and hurting them? He just strips him down a bit, and then we see Loki as a human, which was really interesting to see. But in that scene, we had the best use of flashbacks. Just, oh my God, it just packed a punch. Loki has been there for 11 years. He's been there since the first Thor. He was the first villain in the Avengers. So Tom Hiddleston's character of Loki holds much more emotional weight. The longevity of his character, it's a completely different feel. So when we saw that there was an entire file of this alternate timeline version of Loki, that really just made me emotional. Going back to important moments from Thor: The Dark World, especially with Odin and Frigga, and then his connection with Thor. So his mom and his dad and his brother, like those are key moments in that Loki's life. And to see the character development alone in the highlight reel was incredible to me. So Owen Wilson's Mobius, he technically shows Loki the bad versions of himself. The highlight reel, that really got me. I think that was the best part of the entire episode. It did drag a bit. The pacing is the only issue that I can really say that bothered me quite a lot in this first episode. Something was off and I couldn't place it. And whenever something's off, it's usually the pacing of the actual show. So it's the slowest episode to date. I don't think it's the strongest pilot that we've had. It didn't really sell me. If I was a general audience member and I watched this pilot, I'd be like, not really into it. That's my thing, and that's what I'm worried about, because the second episode I was fortunate enough to watch as well, so thank you, Disney. The second episode really gets in there and opens up an entire world of possibilities. So I think if you're a general audience member and you didn't really get into the pilot, because it was a struggle for me as well, if you guys stick around for episode 2, I promise you're going to get more information, more of an explanation of what's going to happen in the rest of this series. But I enjoyed it because of Tom Hiddleston, and that's the whole reason why many of us are watching it, because he's just so damn good as Loki. So episode 1 was strong because of the concept that they're trying to set up. And that's a good thing, because it's the first episode. There's only 6 episodes. They are longer episodes, which is good. I just wish that the pacing was a bit faster. It just really drags when it shouldn't. Yeah, Loki's good. Loki's good. I'm excited for next week, just so I can share my thoughts with you guys. Make sure to tune in to Movie Files Live tomorrow, which is Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be there with Elliot and Tate's Take, Chris. We're so excited to talk about Loki and do a roundtable discussion like we always do that deep dive, and it's going to be great. I'm so excited, so don't forget to do that. I will be there. I will drop the link underneath, and if you guys enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe. I am officially Mandafisto on Twitter. Make sure you follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I have plenty of hot takes on the timeline. So come join in on the conversation for the next 6 weeks for Loki. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.